Jim Barbieri, a former police officer, degree in criminal justice, now the CEO of Claims Advantage. Thanks so much for joining us on the Fraud Leadership Series today.
Andrew, thanks for having me.
So you, me, everybody, we've all been talking about the different scams that have been happening over the past year and a half or so with COVID. But let's take an even deeper look back. You've been doing this for over 3 decades. Some things have stayed the same, some things have changed. What's going on?
Well, when I started, that was years ago, so I'm a lot older than you are. Uh, we didn't have the technology we have today. Uh, we didn't have cell phones. We used a map book. We didn't have GPS, devices. And our job is a lot easier today to handle fraudulent claims. We did, we did have a tape recorder. And so that was about it. We had a tape recorder. We couldn't do virtual engagements like we do now with Zoom and Google Meet, which is helpful. I mean, the tools really help our trade. I just did a theft claim, and the insured is overseas in Afghanistan. So obviously we had to do a virtual engagement. I prefer face-to-face, but we had to do virtual. But if this was 30 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah,
we'd have to do it on the telephone.
Right. You think about going from a tape recorder, right? And the way we record this interview, it's so much easier. I agree. It's not quite face to face, but in a lot of situations, it helps, right? So if we think about this, though, a lot of things have become easier, but there's some challenges too, right? What are some things that investigators are doing to adapt over time here?
Well, one of the challenges, and I've mentioned this in previous podcasts and webinars, is again the virtual engagements. I mean, they're good to have that option when you have to use it. Again, as I mentioned, I prefer face-to-face interaction because I could read your body language a lot easier than just looking at your face on a computer screen. And the other challenge with virtual engagements is coaching. Somebody could be, behind your computer screen holding up flashcards telling you what to say. I mean, and I usually have somebody scan the room with the camera, but somebody can come into another door and I just won't be able to see them.
I didn't check on the other side of your camera today. Is somebody back there, or these?
No, nobody's there. Just me and the fake bookcase behind me.
Oh, I wasn't going to give away the secret. So obviously, yeah, technology is a great solution, but not without its challenges, right? Let's say remote inspections, for example, and you've talked about this before, where somebody says, "Oh, yeah, great, but I've got a flip phone, right, or one of these older phones that's maybe not capable of that." So how do you kind of blend the different opportunities that are out there and technologies that are out there, and kind of work against some of these challenges?
Again, I try my best to meet everybody in person, and I mean, I'll wear a mask. We'll stay 6 feet apart. We can sit out in the backyard and take the statement, which I've done before. The other thing is a rapid COVID test. I mean, if you have access to that through a health center or a pharmacy or whatever, I'll tell the person, hey, I'll get a COVID test and I'll bring the results with me.
Sure.
That usually puts them at ease, so that kind of that helps. But but there's some attorneys that they don't want to meet in person. The COVID changed the online world because how many times really have we done this type of format? With virtual engagements. Now everybody's just doing it. It's a lot easier. It saves gas. You don't have to travel.
Absolutely.
And but there are some attorneys that are old school and they're like, I don't have a webcam. So we'll have to do it telephonically, which I don't like at all. Yeah. But it's better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess it's like anything, right? Over the past several months now, we've all learned to adapt, and I think we did it pretty quickly, right, for the most part. But we're still figuring things out, and I guess it'll be interesting to see how things change over time, right, as we start to get back to normal and now armed with a whole new set of tools and way of doing business. Very interesting to see what happens.
It is very interesting to see. I had already got my COVID shot, and my arm was killing me for 2 days. Now I'm scheduled to get my second one. So hopefully, things will return back to normal after everybody's vaccinated. And so
cheers to that. Well,
And
Jim, appreciate it. Lots of experience coming behind you, and we appreciate the insights and everything you're doing with us. Thanks for sharing your time today.
yeah, well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.